The First Amendment lives here. And the 2A2. The Daily Mojo.
So things are kind of falling apart, like around the world and everywhere. You want to start with DC? You want to start with the speaker?
Absolutely. And
what
because
is going
I'm on the East Coast right now, giving some frontline accountability. So we are headed down to Florida today to actually talk to the constituents, because that's what this is really, a standoff. This is not a standoff between Democrats and Republicans. This is against the swamp, against we the people who have decided they've had enough. So that's what we're looking at right now. So what you're seeing in the speaker's race is basically good old-fashioned politics 2.0. You're seeing the constituents have overwhelmingly said they don't want Kevin McCarthy. We don't want Republicans to keep going along to get along. But then where you see the fracture is they are saying that, but then they're giving Matt Gaetz a hard time of saying, he threw us into chaos. He did no such thing. He shot the warning shot across the bow about accountability. He said, listen, you agreed to all these things. And it wasn't like he asked for things like, hey, we need extra cupcakes, in the executive lounge. He asked for single bill resolutions so we can see one at a time, 72 hours to look at these bills so these congressmen are not signing things that they haven't seen. They asked you to indict Hunter, which everybody has been cheering from the sidelines and screaming at their TV about. They asked you for impeaching Biden. They asked him for a number of things that he conceded to, but most importantly, the J6 footage. Everybody has been waiting, especially the ones who were in jail right now in the gulag, have been waiting for this footage, and he has not released it. He keeps voting with the Democrats, and they said, listen, dude, you're out of here. We're tired of this swamp politics. But more people are angry at Matt Gaetz for calling him to task than they are at Kevin McCarthy for utterly getting in bed with the Democrats. So that's what you're seeing right now. You've got a few holdouts who still want the money to flow from McCarthy, who are still trying to hold up progress and freedom.
It's how far out do you think we are from a solution and a new speaker? And quite frankly, I don't care if this takes months personally, and we need the right person in there. But how far out do you think we are from that happening?
I think we are closer than people realize, and here's the reason is, we're getting ready for a looming shutdown. There are things that are not getting done while they are playing reindeer games, and that's what this is. The people have overwhelmingly said they want Jim Jordan. We want to move in. It took 15 votes to get McCarthy in there. Nobody wants him. The ones who are fighting and the ones you hear holding out, are they using my constituents want? No, they're saying, I am not budging. I'm not voting for Jim Jordan. Nobody cares what you think. Spoiler alert. Right. Okay, you weren't elected for your personal opinion, as glorious as it may be. So stop grandstanding, put your ego aside, and do what the people have elected you to do, and get on task. This is a bad look for everybody. And if they successfully hand the Democrats back control of the government, they will make it. No Republican will ever see the halls of government again. So they have got to stop this, elect Jim Jordan, and quit playing games with our freedom. Meanwhile, in case they haven't noticed, while they're over here grandstanding, the country is kind of falling apart.
Big time. And the article I sent you this morning, I think I'd heard that somewhere that W was his name had been tossed around a little bit for Speaker of the House, which, I mean, who was the Democrat that so Democrat Congressman Brad Sherman. No, it's Brad Sherman has tossed the idea of W being the next Speaker of the House, which I think says everything you need to know about George W. Bush. But where did this even come from?
Well, it came from the fact that anybody who's looked or researched like I do for a living, there are pictures of Obama and Clinton all palling up, fishing together, going out on certain hiatus. That tells you everything you want to know. So this is validation. The Democrats are trying to milk this, but there's a degree of uncertainty on their side too. I mean, they are all unified behind Hakeem Jeffries. That's the way they always do, because if they do step out, then they're going to get canceled. So they
Right.
will lock in step. But this is one of those times that we should do that. But Hakeem Jeffries is like, hey, we're ready to get to work. Translation, let me hit the Bidenese translation button. It means we are ready to fully strip your freedoms and fulfill, our spending wish list and break this country into two. So what we have to do is realize that this is, we have a real opportunity to reset how things are done. And more than anything, it is the mentality. It is to remind these politicians that we are making the decisions. It is our choice. You guys want McCarthy. We don't want him. And they've overwhelmingly said that. So they've got to stop with the I'm doing this. And I've
Right.
heard some of the most ridiculous, but what we are doing, what I am doing, and what a lot of conservatives are doing are saying, okay, you're going to play this game. Let us do the who's who of hypocrites while you guys are playing games. And we have found out some really interesting stuff while they have been playing games and finding out exactly what's motivating these people. For instance, we've got a couple of these guys tied to a nonprofit that is fully funded by the CCP. We are looking at Lawler has pride flags all over his congressional website. And Gonzalez, the one who is in Florida, is from Miami, who's holding out, voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. So we are finding out a lot about these so-called Republicans and what's motivating them to grandstand. So I've been telling them we're going to have a primary party. Brad, you are invited. Ron, you are invited. Get the popcorn ready. It's going to be primary palooza.
Good. I want to be hopeful. I see so much stupid out there. And even when Jim Jordan tweeted that earlier about we got to come together, what's it going to take? I mean, I don't see a lot of these people really standing up for what's right until something big happens. Here on the Daily Mojo, we always say it's going to take Yellowstone erupting or an attack from literally outer space, like Mars, which we almost found out that we had been attacked during the summer, which kind of went, shoo, all the UFO stuff. But short of something major happening like that, do you see any sort of unity at all in Washington? Do you see them coming together at all?
I do, and here's why. If we leave it to their own devices, it will never happen. Never, ever. But this is where the part of me that is Christian, it comes in. It's the faith. Without faith, it is impossible to please God. And faith is the evidence of things hoped for but not seen. So what I tell people is we need to be handing them a drain plug for the swamp instead of a snorkel to keep snorkeling in it. So what that requires is they have been melting the phone lines, Brad, about this. And that's what it requires. That's the people who have come back into line are because we forced them to. So it's a sad state that we have to stay this diligent and we have to do this. We have to do essentially their jobs for them and remind them to grow up. And we are watching, or we're going to send you home. But that's what it's going to be. I just tell people, stay the course. We're not going to give it up. Ron knows this military term of just, we got to hold it in there. If it was easy, anybody could do it. But melt those phone lines down. Demand that these elected officials grow up. The world is watching. You're embarrassing yourselves and America. Get to work. Elect Jim Jordan. Put your ego aside. And if you don't, we are going to nuke your phone lines. And then we're going to be having a removal party in your honor. We got a lot of keynotes that are going to be there for right now. And we have to actually get it done. We have to show them that we, the people, mean business and we're not going to take it anymore. And that's what needs to happen. So I am very confident. You know me. You don't want to turn me loose. Don't tease me with a good
That's
time.
true. That's true. When is this event happening?
The removal parties have already started. If you look on
right.
it, people who have declared, like Bacon in Nebraska, they've got people who are stepping up going, I'm going to run against him. I'm going to primary him. So Patriots, don't give up. Stay the course and keep their feet, keep lighting those phone lines. It's working. It's working.
Good. And all right, finally, before I let you go, I got to get your opinion on the HR thing, because we're talking about the fact that with the situation in Israel right now, and a couple. It was Biden and who was the other one? It wasn't Janet Yellen, but they were talking about how, hey, our military force ready to go. I'm not so sure. And then we started discussing whether or not there was an HR department in any of the forces. Were you familiar? Obviously, this is not your grandfather's Air Force, Navy, Marine, any of the armed forces. Is there an HR department in any armed force unit?
No, I agree. And like, only is it not my grandfather's? It's not my parents. Both my parents served as Air Force colonels, and it's not my husband's, who was a C-17 pilot. But I'm telling you, there is no HR. It's called your commanding officer,
or your first sergeant.
That is as far as it goes to there. You can piss and moan and then get the toothbrush and start cleaning latrines at your discretion. But at the end of the day, it was. And hearing this pronoun, I mean, my dad is still very vocal and very active in things. And oh my gosh, he's like, I can't even. He goes, I went to Del Rio in July before they deployed to Vietnam with no air conditioning. And he goes, we're talking about pronouns. He's like, your generation is soft. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I know. Well, it gives me hope that there might not be an HR department. I still think that it's going to be one of those things that pops up. I knew it. You can go there and complain, but I'm with you all. I mean, it needs to be, if you're going to go to war, you got to be tough. Otherwise, you're going to get your ass kicked.
They'll toughen you up. If you don't want to do it, they will gladly toughen you up.
There you go. Raven Harrison. You can find her over at ravenharrison.com, the conservative warrior. As always, thanks for taking time. I know you're on the road. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to join us, and we will talk again soon.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
The First Amendment.
Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do.
Lives here. Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.